Welcome to the Baton Rouge Skinny, brought to you by the Greater Baton Rouge Association of Realtors, where we dig into the most recent numbers from our market. Let's start with buyers. Pending sales were up 18.9% to 2,301 contracts signed. On the seller side, new listings were up a respectable 10.7% to 3,423 new homes. Seller activity has been creeping higher lately, as sellers are feeling more confident with the changing landscape. An emerging pattern could be upon us. It's a welcome pattern. Knowledgeable buyers continue to monitor seller activity closely in anticipation of additional choices. Inventory is still thin, but the year-over-year declines have started to fade as sellers regain their footing. Region-wide, the number of homes for sale fell 6.2% from last year to 4,210 units. Since reaching a peak in 2007, the number of active listings on the market is roughly back at 2009 levels. Multiple offers are still pretty common, so serious buyers need to come out swinging because the season likely depends on it. At $174,900, the median sales price was up 2.9% compared to last year. That marks 6 consecutive quarters of year-over-year median price gains. What's driving this, you ask? Less supply, more demand, and an improving sales mix. What's fueling the demand? Still affordable interest rates and home prices, an improving labor market, and rising rents. The possibility of further increases in mortgage rates and home prices is also fueling buyer demand. There are now 5.9 months supply of inventory in the region. That's 16.9% less than last year at this time. It's a far cry from the over 10 months of supply seen in mid-2011. Sellers are getting offers that are more in line with asking prices than in the past. On average, sellers received 97.2% of their list price at the point of sale. That's the highest ratio for any quarter since the second quarter of 2010. That's the Baton Rouge Skinny for this quarter. Check back next quarter for the latest.